What does it take to shine brighter than the scars you carry? Jamie Lee Curtis, a force of nature at 66, has burned through Hollywood for nearly half a century. Her defiance turning pain into power, her falls into radiance. To millions, she's not just a star, she's a beacon, loved for her raw courage and unyielding spirit. But even the brightest flame casts a shadow. Behind the applause, the Oscar, the iconic roles, whispers linger of a soul still wrestling with old wounds. What haunts this woman who's survived it all? What pain grips her today, even as she smiles? Before we dive in, hit that like button as a nod to her extraordinary resilience, a tribute to a legend who's never stopped rising. Let's peel back the glamour and uncover the heart of Jamie Lee Curtis, a story that'll pull you in and hold you tight. Born November 22, 1958, C entered a world glittering with promise. Daughter to Hollywood titans Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh. But the shine hid cracks. At 3, their marriage, once Tinseltown's envy, shattered in a bitter 1962 divorce. "I was raised in a house of hatred," Jamie later said, her words slicing through the decades. No poetry there, just the echo of slammed doors, silent dinners, and a child's sense of safety slipping away. Tony, her father, drifted into addiction and fame, leaving empty chairs at school plays and an ache in Jamie's heart. Classmates' whispers about tabloid headlines stung worse than absence. Janet, her mother, held the family together, smiling for cameras while juggling bills and 2 daughters. But Jamie saw the truth. Her mother's loneliness, the weight of gossip, the exhaustion of playing both parents. Even her own reflection hurt. Gray teeth from a prenatal drug marked her as different in Hollywood's ruthless beauty game. 3 high schools in 4 years taught her belonging was fleeting, while Tony's 6 marriages hammered home that love could vanish by dawn. Yet in the wreckage, her stepfather, Robert Brandt, offered a steady hand, proof tenderness could survive chaos. From that broken home, Jamie forged armor, humiliation into humility, fear into focus, building a resilience that would carry her through storms. But those early shadows never fully faded, trailing her as she stepped into a world she wasn't sure she belonged in. Hollywood wasn't Jamie's first dream. She craved order, picturing herself as a police officer to tame the chaos of her youth. But, as the child of 2 legends, the industry's pull was relentless. At 18, she enrolled at the University of the Pacific to study law, restless and unsure. A chance meeting with a talent manager nudged her toward acting, a path she took with more doubt than drive. "How could I measure up to my parents?" she later confessed. Her first break came in 1977 with Operation Petticoat, a TV series tied to her father's legacy. At 19, it felt like destiny, until the show was canceled after 1 season, her role cut with it. The rejection hit hard, whispers calling her a legacy hire, echoing childhood taunts of not being enough. Then, in 1978, John Carpenter cast her as Laurie Strode in Halloween, a low-budget horror flick. Shaking on set, convinced her mother's psycho fame got her the role, Jamie stepped into history. Halloween grossed over $47 million, massive for its time, and at 19 she was crowned the Scream Queen. But the crown was heavy. Typecasting locked her in. The Fog, Prom Night, and Terror Train in 1980. Then Halloween 2 in 1981 trapped her as the girl running from knives. What if this is all I am? She wondered, the fear of fragility from her childhood creeping into her career. Yet that same resilience, forged in a fractured home, pushed her to fight for more, to prove she was bigger than a scream in the dark. And that fight was about to redefine her. The 1980s and 1990s became Jamie's battlefield, each audition a chance to shatter the Scream Queen cage. In 1983, Trading Places saw her wield wit as Ophelia, silencing doubters who thought she couldn't do comedy. Critics ate their words, but Jamie admitted the applause fed her fear. "I thought they'd never take me seriously." A Fish Called Wanda in 1988 was her triumph. Electric, seductive, vulnerable, earning her a BAFTA and global respect. Yet imposter syndrome lingered, whispers of Tony and Janet's daughter haunting every set. By 1994, True Lies transformed her into Helen Tasker, a suburban mom turned warrior. At 36, she dangled from a helicopter over Los Angeles, refusing a stunt double, and turned a real fall during a striptease into cinematic legend. Her Golden Globe for the role was sweet, but the real win was freedom from genre's grip. Still, Hollywood's cruelty struck back. Perfect, 1985, and Virus, 1999, flopped hard. The latter so bad, Jamie called it a mistake she'd erase. Each failure echoed childhood rejection, the fear that her place could vanish overnight. But she pressed on, reinventing herself in 2003's Freaky Friday, charming a new generation and earning another Golden Globe nod. Knives Out in 2019, and her 2022 Oscar win for Everything Everywhere. All at Once at 64 proved her staying power. Each peak was a battle won, but behind the victories lurked a secret that could have ended it all, a shadow darker than any role. Beneath the glamour, Jamie carried a secret that could have shattered her world, a decade-long addiction to Vicodin. It began in 1989, at 35, after cosmetic surgery meant to quiet insecurities about her looks. Puffy eyes, gray teeth, flaws Hollywood magnified. The prescription painkiller offered warmth, a false safety that numbed decades of self-doubt. One pill became 10, a lifeline hidden in bathroom drawers. On set, she dazzled. At home, she locked doors, stealing pills from friends, lying to her husband, Christopher Guest, and their children. "I was sick with secrets," she later admitted, shame chaining her to silence. A single, regretful moment haunts her still. Using cocaine once with her father, Tony, a scar she carries as a warning of addiction's reach. The world saw a star. She saw a fraud. Terrified exposure would cost her career, her family, everything. Then, in 1994, tragedy struck. Her brother Nicholas, a gifted musician, died at 23 from an overdose. His death was a mirror to her own struggle, a scream she couldn't ignore. Standing by his coffin, grief for Nicholas mixed with terror. The same demon could claim her too. That loss, raw and unbearable, became the spark that pushed her toward salvation, a fight she couldn't wage alone. Nicholas's death in 1994 was only the start of a brutal wave. In 1995, Richard Frank, her spiritual husband and closest friend, died of AIDS, stealing the anchor who steadied her through fame's storms. His absence left a silence no applause could fill, she said, the loss hollowing her out. Then came Lori Tull, a young girl Jamie loved like a daughter, taken at 20 by heart transplant complications. Jamie called it a wound of humanity, a reminder of life's fragility. These losses, brother, friend, chosen daughter, stacked like stones on her chest, each one a private funeral she carried while smiling for cameras. The world saw poise. She felt broken glass in her hands, each memory cutting deeper. Yet these tragedies didn't harden her. They softened her, carving space for empathy. Nicholas's death fueled her advocacy for addiction recovery. Richard and Lori's losses pushed her to cherish time and fight for others. Her grief, though crushing, became a compass, guiding her toward purpose. But more losses loomed, testing her resilience in ways that cut even deeper. The early 2000s brought grief that tore at Jamie's core. In 2004, her mother, Janet Leigh, died, leaving Jamie feeling like a child again, unmoored without her sanctuary. "Her laughter was my home," she said, the loss stripping away her last tie to innocence. In 2009, her stepfather, Robert Brandt, passed, the man who'd shown her what a father could be, steady where Tony was absent. His death collapsed the final pillar of her childhood stability. Then, in 2010, Tony Curtis died, and his will delivered a final wound. Jamie and her siblings were excluded, a deliberate rejection. "It wasn't about money," she said. "It was the silence." The little girl who'd waited for her father's love was abandoned one last time. Yet Jamie didn't let bitterness win. She turned pain into purpose, building a family with Christopher Guest and their adopted daughters, Annie and Ruby. Her marriage, a 40-year rarity in Hollywood, and her fierce love for her children became her defiance against a fractured past. Sobriety, sparked by her sister Kelly's 1999 intervention, became her lifeline, a choice to show up for those she loved. These losses didn't break her. They shaped a woman who chose compassion over collapse, proving love could outlast pain. At 66, Jamie lives in a Pacific Palisades home, a sanctuary worth millions but priceless for its peace. With Christopher Guest, her husband since 1984, she's built a marriage that defies Hollywood's odds. Steady, humorous, real. Adoption healed her infertility wounds, giving her Annie, a dancer, and Ruby, a transgender woman whose wedding Jamie officiated, calling it a proud pinnacle. In January 2025, when wildfires ravaged Los Angeles, her home was spared, but she gave $1 million to relief efforts, saying, "Safety's an illusion, but compassion's real." Her health, post a benign breast cancer scare, embraces yoga, meditation, and a rejection of cosmetic surgery as a genocide of natural beauty. Her artistry continues with Freaky Friday Sue, roles in The Bear and Scarpetta, and over a dozen children's books, earning a Grammy nod. Sobriety, now over 25 years strong, remains her proudest feat, greater than her Oscar. Whispers of fears linger, time being forgotten, but she channels them into advocacy, sharing her scars to guide others. Her legacy isn't just films or awards. It's a life of authenticity, love, and resilience that lights the way for others. Jamie Lee Curtis is more than a scream queen, a Golden Globe winner, or an Oscar champion. She's a testament to turning pain into power. From a childhood of hatred to addiction's chains, from losing her brother, parents, and chosen family to building a life of love with Christopher, Annie, and Ruby, she's transformed grief into compassion, rejection into resolve. Her story asks, what's stronger than surviving your deepest wounds? At 66, she stands radiant. Not because her scars are gone, but because she wears them as proof that healing is possible. Which part of her journey hits you hardest? Her fight through addiction, her fierce motherhood, or her defiance of Hollywood's cruelty? Share your thoughts below and subscribe to keep exploring stories of strength and humanity. Jamie's light reminds us, love, not applause, is what endures.